Hello, everyone. Hey, Keisha, welcome. Great to see you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. So this is a live stream I do every Thursday morning where you can ask me any questions you have about the world of data analytics. Yeah, sorry about the scared through. My parents actually came to town, so I was hanging out with them earlier today. What do we have today? Is Power BI enough for a data analyst role? It's definitely enough to get started, in my opinion, although I would recommend that you pick up SQL eventually. So Power BI is enough to get started, but then SQL is what you kind of want to do eventually. And I'm loud enough for you guys, right? So everyone can hear me. Keisha wanted to ask a quick question about SQL, where to practice questions. Let's see. HackerRank is usually where I practice SQL questions, and that's where I would go first. Should we learn Power BI to land a junior data analyst role? Yes, 100%. Either Power BI or Tableau. Basically, you want to have one BI tool, a business intelligence tool, under your belt. I have a free Tableau tutorial on my YouTube channel, so you can go check that one out over there. Shubham, hello. Subhojit, okay, let's see. Hi, can you explain the conditional columns in Power BI? Let's see, Power BI conditional. So I don't actually use Power BI all that much. I use Tableau a lot more. Every company I work at just happens to use Tableau. Um, let's see. What is a conditional column? Oh, okay. So a conditional column seems to kind of be like a case when statement, like in SQL. The basic idea being that when something says W, make that west. When something says E, make that east. Like we have two different columns, right? And one column, something will say east west, right? And then whenever it says E, make in the next column make it east. When it says W, make it west. That's what it seems to be. The Jersey Dude, best way to learn Python courses. My channel. Go to my channel. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Thank you. Danny, definition of a data analyst. A data analyst, honestly, is anyone who uses computers to analyze data, in my opinion. Like when I'm talking about a data analyst on my YouTube channel, it's anyone that uses computers to analyze data. Typically, they will use a SQL, a BI tool like Tableau or Power BI, and let's see, SQL, Tableau, and something like Excel. And if you want to get really advanced, you can start using things like Python. Dhruv asked a question in my Discord channel. Let's see what the question is. Let me see what the question is. I have a latitude and longitude containing data on a highway. I am able to plot the highway route on Tableau. Is there a library to plot similarly in Python? Also, while writing this question, I came up with one more doubt. Can we plot two things, latitude and longitude, on a single sheet of Tableau? Okay, so on Tableau, you're going to have what you need to do is all the latitudes and longitudes have to be in the same, you have to transform them so they're all in the same column. And then you need to have a separate column that groups the two categories. So like if this is data one, latitude and longitude, this is data two, latitude and longitude, you need to stack them on top of each other and have a different column that differentiates the categories. That's how you do that in Tableau. I don't think you could do it the other, like you can't do it easily any other way. What I've learned with Tableau is don't try and like force a data model that it doesn't want inside it. Use the data model that already works on it. And then as far as Python is concerned, Kepler.gl is something that I'd look up if I were you. Kepler.gl. It's a it's the mapping engine that Uber uses, and they release it for open source, and they have a Python library that you can use as well. Shalom is prediction mandatory for data analytics. It isn't. I would call them more of a data science skill, but as with all data science skills, if you want to advance your data analyst career, then I would say it would be best for you to learn at least the basics of the data science skills. Like that is what you want to do. Mohammed, okay, so in Canada, it seems there's a pretty hard glass ceiling in terms of data analyst salaries. Do you find that to be the case in the US? 100%. It's one of the reasons I left the data analyst field. I like to kind of say that there isn't a such thing as a $200,000 data analyst, even in the US, meaning that as a data analyst, it's very difficult to be paid more than $200,000 base salary. There are very few positions that will do that for you, versus engineering. There are a lot of positions that pay more than that. And data science, I would argue, with a couple of years experience, you should be definitely making more than that. Working at like a big company and stuff like that, or like a tech first company. So yeah, data analytics does very much have a glass ceiling the in terms of the salary that you can make in it. So yeah, if you're looking to make more money eventually, unless you go into management, you'll hit that ceiling pretty quickly in data analytics or as a data analyst. And then from there, you have multiple ways you could go, but data science is usually where people go, and data engineering is where I went. Frank, hello, I'm a CPA. Is your job more boring than mine? I spend all day on a computer and Excel. I would argue that the job of a data analyst can be a lot more interesting, if only because there is a lot of room for new tools to be used, and you don't have to follow any set procedure on how the job is accomplished. That's where I would say the job is a lot more interesting. I think that the interesting thing about our job is that the opportunity it presents is quite high. And if you get into data science, I think there's a lot more money to be made than even in as a CPA personally. Herbie, how's your transition been to data engineer from data analyst position? It's been difficult, but it's been very good. I have learned a ton about engineering, just like how much I never knew about the field, and so that it is, it's crazy how much stuff gets done in the background that we just never think about. And with data engineering, there is honestly, at least I feel, so much more to learn. Because new technologies are constantly being created for data engineers and data scientists, less so for data analysts. Data analysts are kind of like a third thought in the like eyes of a lot of engineers, and so the tools are being created for data analysts and data scientists. So it's been difficult, but really, really great. I've been practicing Scala a lot in order to eventually get into like a more coding like job with like my data engineering work, and then I'm looking to get my AWS certification soon. These are great questions. Just to make sure the audio is fine, right? Dhruv, I'm glad I was able to help. Omar, thoughts on the meta database engineer professional certificate course from Coursera? Be on the lookout. I have a video coming out next week about it. Yash Kumar, how do I get a data engineer job? learn SQL, data modeling, Tableau, learning Python, lead code. What else? I would argue you should focus some time on learning cloud technologies. Like go learn what the basic AWS services do and how cloud architecture works. Um, I don't know why no one ever puts that in their curriculum for like learning how to be a data engineer, but like modern data engineers work with so many cloud tools that like you kind of have to know what they do at the high level at least. And like obviously new tools are coming out all the time and practices are, well, I mean, I wouldn't say practices are always changing, but like new tools are coming out all the time. Um, but the basics like, S3, EC2, Amazon Kinesis, like this stuff is like fairly standard. So learn like basic systems design for data engineering. And there is a great website or great service, I guess, Byte that they have a ton of free content you can use, and that they're specifically designed to help you pass a systems design interview. Jason, hello, hello. The Jersey dude, where do you work now? How's the job market? So I work at a company called Bet Fanatics. It's a sports betting company. And the job market right now is not the best it's ever been. But here's the thing, right? Like a lot of the major tech companies have slowed down hiring a ton. But because of that, a lot of smaller companies willing to pay up to or very close to big tech salaries are now hiring because there's a lot of free talent available. So I'd say the market, broadly speaking, is still fine. But with the big tech companies, obviously, there's a lot of slowing down of the hiring. Okay, cool, cool. As long as people can hear me. Ooh, Danish, this is a good, or Danish, this is a great question. Is it necessary to get certificates for certain skills such as SQL or any programming language? Just the knowledge is enough, in my opinion. The benefit of certificates is that they sometimes will stick out, but more importantly, they provide a learning path for you as an individual. To me, that's the importance of a certificate. It helps you learn well. But in this field, no one really looks at your certificates because you can't be like certified in Python and SQL and stuff like that. There's no governing body to give you a legitimate certification. So, for example, like AWS, Amazon Web Services, the cloud services, you can be certified in that because Amazon has a sense like they give certifications out and they're the creators of AWS. So people take those certifications seriously. But if you're talking about like Python and SQL, no one takes those certifications too seriously because there's no central authorizing body saying that you know it. So I would say definitely get certifications to help you stay on track and learn. But those certifications themselves don't like necessarily communicate to any knowledgeable hiring manager that you know what you're talking about. You need to show them in a technical interview. Subhojit, can you take a session on how to write DAX? What kind of rules we have to follow when writing DAX? Yeah, I need to learn it myself. I personally have never used Power BI, or like I've used it like three times in my life. So I would have to like learn Power BI and all the tools behind it myself. Axel Race. Since the major visualization tools are practically similar, uh, Axel, I would say that is a good way of thinking about it. Yes, broadly speaking, once you know one visualization tool, like it's easy enough to learn all the other ones too. Like I mean, they're meant to be easy to use. And as long as you understand that in Tableau, you almost never want to manipulate data in Tableau. You want to have the data pre-created and then serve it up to Tableau. As long as you understand that, then you're good to go. Gaurav, where to practice SQL online for free? HackerRank, Volker. Do you know about analytics engineering? Do you think it's worth considering? Yeah, 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 I think it's a great career as well. Analytics engineering is, in my mind, it's very similar to data engineering. I think it's a great career. The only thing is the engineering, like analytics engineering, data engineering, these are very like different jobs from data science and data analytics. Like data science and data analytics are related to each other. Data engineering is like it's related, but it's very different. Like the work is very, very different because it's an engineering job, right? Whereas these other two are in some way, shape, or form analysis jobs. Um, So just remember that the skills required are very different. Inderjeet, how to go for statistics as I'm getting poor marks, suggest any source from which I can study data science. My channel, I have a series of videos called Practical Statistics for Data Scientists. I recommend watching those. Should I start with data science foundation class before taking data mining class? Uh-huh. Well, it really depends. I'm not sure what the content of the courses you're talking about is, so it's difficult to answer that question. I am Batman. List of universities in your mind which offer MS and business analytics. I don't know. I personally am not really considering a master's degree in that stuff, so I don't really keep track of it. I know that University of Texas at Austin offers a $10,000 data science degree, and it's like a full data science degree. So that might be something worth considering. Hey, Gaming Society, if you look at the link in the description below, you'll see that we have a roadmap to become a data analyst linked in the description below. Bearish Cat, that's awesome to hear. That is so cool. I am so happy that that is what happened. I'm actually screenshotting what you sent. Tun May, can I do an MS in business analytics and get a job of a data scientist in the US? Because my chance of getting MS is quite less. Yeah, that's usually what people do, I think. They get into like business analytics or something, and then from there they get a job. Yeah, that sounds good. Ooh, Huero X, is data analytics needed in all industries? To differing degrees, yes, I would agree. Every industry needs it to a differing amount. Or let me rephrase that. Every industry needs it. Not every company needs it. If you work in analytics, I would argue you want to work for a what you call a technology first company, and these are tech companies where the technology is very core to how they make money. So for example, I would call like Amazon is a tech first company. Or well, okay, no, that's a bad example. They're just a tech company. Like Apple, Amazon, Google, these are like tech companies. Like their business is technology. Um, Something like I don't know, not maybe not even Airbnb. I'm trying to think of like a better example. But something like my company, right? Like we're a sports betting company, but we're a tech first company. Over like 30% of the company is engineers, and that's because we're developing a hard hitting product. So even though sports betting is our business, we do that sports betting primarily through an app, um, and we offer that service to the public primarily through an app, and that's why we're a tech first company. You're wearing a Coursera t-shirt. Do you have courses there? I don't, but I have a sponsored video from them coming out soon. That's where I got the shirt from. Hey, Francis, great to hear from you. Great to hear from you. I'm glad you have the new channel. Oh, I see you even have a LinkedIn. That's awesome. Of course, Harpreet, great to hear from you. Shashi, I have a video coming out soon that you'll really like. So stay on the lookout. Dhruv, a video or blog suggestion or short video. Can you make a video or document on different libraries or different purposes? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That's a great idea. Abhishek, how many end-to-end projects should I do for my resume? I would say you could probably only do about two. before getting, if you're like, I'm assuming you don't have a job yet, right? So you probably will end up doing about two of them. And if you do two really good ones, then I think you'll have what you need for your resume. So that's what I would recommend. Exactly, Bed Wars. Do you recommend the Google Data Analytics course? Yes, I do. It's a good course. Also, if you haven't already liked the video, make sure you like the video. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this is a video worth watching. Tunmei, yes, that sounds like a really cool idea. Which NLP tool do you think is best for extracting medical data? Oh, that's a really difficult question. So that's definitely out of my depth. So I would not be able to answer that. I apologize. All right, everyone, I can answer maybe one more question, then I'm going to head out for today. Did not get much sleep last night, so. Oh, Jyotirmai Bodlamudi. Hey, Shashank, I'm starting out as a data analyst by doing freelance work in the industry. Awesome. Few things you would definitely keep in mind as a newbie to this field. First of all, try and find people more experienced than you to give you suggestions on how to go about projects. Don't be afraid if you're making very slow progress at first. If you work as a freelancer, what I used to do is I used to charge by the hour, but then I would charge my clients one third of the hours I actually worked because I spent so much of the time like learning the field. Um, and I felt that that was just the right thing to do because I advertised myself as someone who knew what they were doing, but I was still learning. So, that's one great way to learn is to, charge by the hour, but only charge one third of the actual hours you're working. Um, and the reason that you want to do that versus charging one third the rate is that you want to make sure that you're like anchored at a certain rate and that you don't bring down rates for the entire industry on accident. Because what happens, a couple of people bring down rates and then eventually everyone's rates start to come down too. So that, and then make sure to gather very, very clear requirements from your customers. Your customers need to know, you need to know exactly what your customers are asking for, and you need to know exactly, so you need to know exactly what your customers are looking for, and you need to know exactly how to get there. So that data, I mean, that requirements gathering step, very, very important. Umber, is PySpark required for data analysts? No, PySpark is something that data scientists and data engineers use. Data analysts rarely use it. Um, of course, Hero, and then Pankaj, where are you right now? I am in Seattle, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's Seattle right now, so it's extremely cloudy. So you can see that's downtown Seattle. You literally can't see anything because of all the clouds. All right, well, thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.